Right, hello and welcome back to Elden Ring. So today, this should be, with luck, a win versus, I think it's Melania, Blade of Miquella or something, wasn't it? But yeah, so, let me just check we've got all our talismans and things set up. So, to my understanding, they do some, Scarlet Rot stuff, so we're going to keep that on. But I think other than that, it's mostly physical damage. We'll keep, I guess, this. But I don't think they're actually dealing much in the way of physical damage, so it may be worth... so they don't deal much in the way of other damage types. So it may actually be worth sticking something else on. Just possibly. I don't know what that would be, but there's probably some other things that could give us a bit of a boost here. 5 extra strength, maybe. For what good it's worth. Or possibly a massive stamina boost. Or FP boost, or well, probably not really much FP. I think we're mostly just using that for buffs. Or a massive HP boost there. Possible, all possibilities, aren't there? So, something to consider. Now, before we get started, let's try a bit of this and this. So I've actually done a little bit of research prior to this. I also want to try this heal out. Does it work on the mimic? I don't think it does actually, unfortunately. But our mimic is glowing, so I do believe that we have given the mimic buffs. We'll leave oh, does the... I think the heal affects them over time. See, I'm having difficulty because it's the first time I've used the thing. Back up. We don't want to lose ourselves to this. Get the heal. That is a hard hitting attack. There goes the mimic. Which is not good news for me. Nope. Also, I completely forgot that I got runes in here. Oh well. I think it were quite a few and all, wasn't it? See, this is the problem with there being a day between episodes. I'm thinking I might have just missed like 100,000 runes just on the floor over there. Oh well. I guess they're gone. so don't have to worry about picking them up now. Now, when I said I'd done a bit of research as well into final few bosses, mostly just looking at resistances and attack times. So Melania here does mostly slash damage, which, as we saw, as we've seen here, all these spin attacks, that's slashing damage. So this is slashing damage, but when she does that big, so that will be piercing damage, that. And that will be piercing damage. Does also appear to be healing a little bit from hits. But another thing that's worth noting as well here, so you might have noticed we're doing quite the bit of damage to her. Avoid this attack now. Yeah, we're sort of it, but not particularly well. Okay. Get those buffs back on. I guess we'll just lob a fireball at her. That's Blessing of the Earth Tree, let's get that up. That'll do for now. Now let's get some hits on her. Cleanse. Let's see if we get a heal off on the mimic. I don't know if it does anything, but with them being a mimic, but we can live in hope. It does. Also, when did her health go back up? I mean, we've got hits on her, haven't we, while she's been in this stage. I think she's got some kind of recovery. Yeah, I think that's the recovery though, where she hits us in that state. Yeah, just hits that goddamn truck. The main issue I'm having here is the mobility. Yeah, I'm gonna go. So it really is, it's another boss where it's like, oh yeah, the first stage is just the easy mode. The fight doesn't actually start till you're midway through. Right. So the heal doesn't appear to do anything much, really. So, with that in mind, what could we use? Well, we've been saving up for that. We could try that out. That's always something, eh? I don't even know what that does. It just says it's a blessing, a greater blessing. So I imagine it's good. But that said, don't need magic fortification either. Maybe just by keeping a heal equipped. Mimic may use it. Right. So just by having it there, our Mimic just might use it and show some sense of self-preservation. We want to try and get this first stage over with quickly. Try and get this bit done quick. Yeah, look at them putting buffs down. Perfect world, we want to basically get through this part of the fight, having basically used no health at all, especially on the Mimic. We want our Mimic to be through this fighting fit, and yet Melania there is definitely gaining health on hit. And this little style multi-slash thing can like almost quarter fill her health bar again if you don't watch out, so starts to the second phase. I really do. It's just like, hey, if she hits you, you're dead. Thanks. And she immediately just blasts for you. And the thing is, she just goes straight to where you are. There's high tracking to it because she moves incredibly quick. And it's not like she picks a spot and goes, I'm going there where you are now. No. She's tracking you until she goes for it, which is annoying. Right. Little back step as well. There we go. Yep, there's that. Anytime she jumps up in the air, it's basically don't go for it at that point, start blocking. Healing. Just try to stagger her out of the attacks so she can get those healing strikes in. Stamina. Oh, now we can heal those. There we go. go. Right, let's see what we can do. Blessing of the Earth Tree. Golden Vow. Black Flames Protection. We'll try and heal. Damage negation on and heal up. Anime sword attack. I think the best form of defense is just keep staggering her out of the attacks that she's doing. More than anything else. So we'll just do a heal. Maybe it'll help for a minute. It is healing them actually. It is actually healing. I can see the health going up by small amounts. I think the problem is the Mimic is an absolute tank, so to fully recover their health would take a ton. Yeah, she's just going for me. Okay, I need to get a pot to heal. Probably the Mimic dead. Oh, it's like it's an AoE while she's doing that. Okay, I get it. My mistake. Hadn't really used, hadn't faced that move before, so that's a new one. If we see a flower, don't be stood in the flower, basically. Okay. Decent second attempt. Hello. Get her. Bully her. No, animate sword strikes. Oh god. Wow, I nearly died. One. Out of curiosity. Those attacks deal total damage. So we want to try and get a few of those in when possible. Maybe in the next phase as well, while she gets distracted by my Mimic, kind of coming from behind and just hits her with a few. So it can stay at range, relatively protected. Try just shield blocking from this. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go for this. Just block. You shouldn't bother trying to dodge roll or anything. Golden Vow then. Blessing of the Earth Tree. Might as well just use the last bit of it up. There we go. Oh, got it to half already. Jesus Christ. We are shredding her. Now let's keep this up. Let's chug. Fire torpedoes. Spam her down. Honestly, I think if I left that mimic to it, there's probably a 50-50 chance. Heal the mimic. Nearly gone, she's nearly gone. We're out of FP. So we probably don't want to get Scarlet rotted here either. If possible.
Your strength. Extraordinary.
Well, I am a strength main character.
The mark of a true lord.
Got her great rune and remembrance of the rot goddess.
Dear Mikola. Oh, dearest Mikola. My brother. I'm sorry. I finally met my match.
And just to take them off the map. I'll grab those. Right, let's see what we have here. Level up. Oh yeah, we've got a few. We've got a few. Maybe I should have put the scarab on since we weren't doing anything with holy, with magic or holy damage or anything. Right, faith's up there. Strength is now up there. We are currently pretty much the perfect level. 169. Yes. Powerful enough to take on the final boss. Oh! Hello? Is she gonna like sprout out of that? Right, well, there we go then. The Halig tree is complete. We have beaten just about everything. Meaning, the last thing to go is what I do believe is the final boss of the game. We could go with Hand of Millennia, a strength dex weapon with blood loss. Not bad, not bad. Or we can go with Scarlet Aeonia. Creates a giant flower that explodes with scarlet rot. It is a faith attack that uses 3 slots. I don't think any of it matches up to mine, but they certainly look quite cool. I'll admit that much. It does seem if you just want sheer raw power, regardless of weight, it's pretty much the veteran's gear that you want, it would seem. Radan's being a close second behind them. I don't think we're going to be getting any more levels anytime soon. Seeing as it's now just a sprint to the finish, so I might as well get them spent. I'm at the very least buying the hat. The hat looks cool. Right. Still got 25 grand left. Any upgrades I can buy? Last minute things to change.
I see.
And mimics all the way leveled up. Oh wow. Yeah, we can level this up then. And last but not least, so we've now got a fully leveled up I don't know if we need a fully leveled up shield, but we have one. Right. I believe I have a bell off it. There should now be more ghost globe walks, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, not bad, okay. Pretty good, pretty good. We've got a bit of money left. I'm just gonna buy some more of these like one-off these one-time reusable items and stuff, Right, it is time to memorize our final spells. Now, I'm definitely going to keep the blessings on. The damage dealt in the final boss. So, as we saw when we fought them, I mean, again, I've done a bit of reading up just on like the resistances and the damage types, but it's fairly obvious. So the big Elden boss at the end, the Elden Beast, whatever it's called, that's, you know, like a giant star nebula Loch Ness monster type thing. That and name begins with an R and I've completely forgotten it. Fellow who left his wife in that mage castle. But the guy you fight before him, both of them deal holy damage. The guy before also, he's wielding, I think it's a hammer or something, so it counts as strike damage. So we can't really do much about that other than just, you know, put on some physical negation. But mostly what they're going to use is holy damage. So what we want is probably not going to be these. We won't need Flame Cleanse Me on this. We're not going to need that. What we do need is greatly increases holy damage negation for self and allies. We need that for this fight. Buffs. I wish as well I could move these along here rather than having to like unslot them and reslot them. Anyway. So yeah, I would like to actually put the buffs together. And then put the fire attacks here. Now, what we want that for then, as I was saying, so they deal massive amounts of holy damage. Right? Can't be helped. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to do a massive amount of holy damage. So, we want to basically be able to completely, if possible, just negate as much as we can. So, non-damage negation, holy damage negation. Now, we've got physical damage, but we are going to have to fight that guy first. They will still both deal physical damage, but they are going to be dealing mostly holy sort of damage. So, worth keeping in mind that. Also, just because I want to try it out while we're here, where are... I'll admit, it does look kind of badass. Does it look good with the Valkyrie helmet? I imagine that looks a bit weird. It does. The funny thing is the Valkyrie helmet has way longer hair. The clean rot helm. Yeah. So we've now got like hair as long as his cape if we wear that. But I prefer the helmet on the other one. Because I don't know, it just looks... It looks like the scaling is off with that. It looks too small for what it is. It looks good, but it's way too small. Like they've got a teeny tiny head. Anyway, we'll put it back to normal. In fact, maybe it'll look good with Radahn's. It's not bad actually. I'll admit, it's not half bad. Right. Where's my super heavy armor? Here we are. Right. And one other thing I want to try. So. Oh, do I have to hold it? No, it's just a burst, isn't it? Oh no, you can. You can absolutely burn through your entire mana bar and just obliterate them. So that's something as well. Now, Melania absolutely was weak to fire damage, right? Also, now how did I get to this? I think there was a way gate, wasn't there, up where was the way gate? Oh, yes. Where was the way gate to the isolated tower? So I'm betting that we can get over there and get this rune activated, because that's the only tower I see left. So we can have raises all attributes, restores HP upon defeating enemies, raises max HP, FP and stamina, greatly raises max HP, used for perfect rebirth. Do we not have a great rune from Melania, or does it? Yeah, it goes here while we act until we activate it. Devoid of any benediction. Or is one of these the tower that I've perhaps missed? Not certain. Anyway, well, that might be something to do later. I don't want to be chasing around after that when we've got the final boss in our sights. We'll have a few practice goes. Didn't mean to do that. We'll have a few practice goes, and I don't think that we will win, but if we can get it to the point where we're not just insta-dying on the Elden Beast and can actually put up a semi-decent chance, well, a semi-decent fight, so that we have a chance, I think it's time to start burning some of those arc runes, otherwise they'll never get used. Radigan, that's the fella. So yeah, all of this is holy damage. Don't get knocked off the edge. I think they can. You know, I think they can. Way more holes. You can do that all day. Are you going to keep spamming the same move, or are you actually going to try something skillful? Ow. Get him. Gave us one last party FU, didn't it? For that move. Right. look, it decided to insta-kill me. Oh, it didn't. I guess we got the polar resistance cast off in time. As I mentioned, it does still deal physical damage, as you can see. That looks like some kind of shotgun out of it. Oh no, it's just chasing projectiles. Let's get some casts off. Damage negation is up. Iron Brew has been drunk. Still next. He'll be a very nasty surprise. Okay, we does that again. Stand still, that is. Which it doesn't look like it's going to. I mean, this isn't breaking my blocks, so this will never do damage to me while it's doing that. This cannot actually hurt. Doing something. Okay, holy attack on there. We've probably been over preparing for this, haven't we? I'm now beginning to realise. But that's what I do. I don't just... I mean, I'll keep headbutting a problem to a certain extent. But at some point I will just strategize and prepare and usually overdo it enormously. Don't die, goddammit. I was hoping that I'd kill it before that attack hit me. I was nearly right. I knew it was too good to be true. Right, okay. Let's try then. I've got a little theory. Let's try not level up. We'll put one more on FP. Chance, physical resistance, holy resistance, greater blessing. That'll be good enough for this bit. And look, now he doesn't obliterate it in a single strike. Ain't that nice? Do it. Hit me! Okay, now I need 2 stamina, so I don't hit him again. Stamina recovered, let's go. Ow. The best bit is the blessing of the Earth Tree causes us to regenerate health at a rapid rate. I think that's what it's doing. Oh! Killed him already. That was fast. I've still got all my buff supply. Look at that speed of that health recovery. Like, you know what I'm tempted to do? Like, you could genuinely put on the Blessing of the Erd Tree and just take like the Teardrop Talisman and just go nuts. Run in. You cannot kill me, peasant! Ah! I don't know why the camera is freaking out as it is, but yeah, when he goes on his hind legs, the camera does not know what to do. Oh, that's a new move. Thanks for letting me get these swings in, though. See, you seem to think that you can eventually wear my stamina out to get a hit in. I have nearly double the base stamina at this point. That ain't happening. Get those hits in. Is he doing that like big beam attack? No, he's not. He's just standing there. Now he's doing it. No, come out with that animation. Stamina was a bit dicey there, but hey, we didn't die this time. And I've got 8 flasks to spare. In fact, I'm going to take this physic thing. Yeah, I've got some iron draft to take 3 hits. Okay, I overkilled it. My god. 500,000 runes. There it goes. What am I gonna do with 500,000? My god. 500,000 runes. I think I can level up a few times. What would I even want to level at this point? Could do with some extra FP, I guess. Take it to 140. You know what? We'll put that to 50. Get endurance to 50. A nice round number to finish off with. And what else can we do here? Some extra FP wouldn't go amiss. I need to take like mind to. Yeah, maybe just bump up my FP a bit so I can cast all these blessings at the same time without having to use multiple flasks. That'd be nice. How much do I need? Like 120 found more if I want to level up one more time. Sod it. We'll do it. Newman's Heroes Rune, I guess? That seems about right. Yeah. Right, we've got 42 runes. After that 500,000 expense. And finishing the game at level 172. Wait a minute. 172. So yeah, in fact I mentioned it before the fight, but I finished the game, beat the boss at level 169. Clearly it was destined to happen. The Elden Ring shall be mine.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a Tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall an age of fracture.
I don't even know if that was the good ending or the bad ending. I have no idea. I was honestly expecting a bit more of an ending than that. But, you know, expecting a bigger cutscene where it may be showing like the world getting fixed and going back to normal and, you know, something, I don't know, maybe like all the like various world bosses or something kneeling before me and me being all powerful, or I'm not sure. I'm expecting something more and it just goes, they will look back at us and recall an age of fracture. Credits. So, well, I mean, it's something, I guess. I mean, we know of one secret ending. I mean, well, quote unquote secret. That fella in the mountaintop of the giant said we could go and get the frenzied flame or something. But I think I mentioned at the time we heard that I'd been told that that was the quote unquote bad ending. I'm just going to knock the volume down on this as well. But very interesting, very, very, very long game. I think that's, oh, I think it's been 120 plus hours. Jesus Christ. I mean, I've always referred to these when I've been talking about these sort of games. I don't call them RPGs, I call them an RPG epic. You know, and there's a distinction. I tend to think that between an RPG and an RPG epic, and that distinction is about 70 hours. Now, I would consider games like Fallout, Skyrim, The Witcher to be amongst them. But man, it was great though. I did enjoy every minute. Well, I say enjoy, you know, apart from the bits where I'm just getting thrown off cliffs, set on fire, impaled, etc. But it's about the struggle, isn't it? It is about the struggle. I'm genuinely considering doing like a separate video where I discuss my thoughts on this game because it is so long of a game. But I will definitely leave you with a few here while the credits roll. So again, absolutely excellent. The one thing that's always irked me, and I've heard this in some articles and things that I've read on it, that it's supposedly this right now the graphics are not up to snuff. It's still a beautiful game, but it is what I would say is that I guess the way to put it is the artist team is like S tier artist, team of artists and designers, yeah. But the programmers on the engine side who are getting the actual graphics working in game to display it all and be high resolution and so on, are kind of B tier from the looks of things. Because I've from the very beginning had performance and stuttering issues. This is a newly upgraded machine. It has a flagship AMD graphics card, a 6900 XT 16GB monster card, right? And it's running off of an SSD, so if you say that it's the system, yeah, then it shouldn't require a supercomputer to play, a supercomputer should be able to play it on the highest settings, no issue. So that being the case here, it does, I would say that definitely from a performance and graphics perspective, I would have expected more. Having recently played Horizon Forbidden West, that game really shows what you can do with the modern generation, the current generation of systems. But again, the design and artist team. So to put it simply, from a design perspective, the world looks amazing. It's absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't believe it when I saw it in the trailers and things. It just, your jaw drops. But what I will also say is that from a graphical fidelity standpoint, where you're looking at, well, what resolution of the textures and how's the lighting and has it got ray tracing? By the way, there's no ray tracing in this game. That massive modern feature that we've just come up with in the past few years that was set to change gaming and all that. Not present here, but they are saying they're going to add it in an update. I've heard that. We'll see if that comes to pass. Maybe when they do a big update for like the next DLC or something, it'll get added in. I don't know, but then it's whether or not the game can perform with that on in a stable manner. Mine's struggling to render it in 4K. I've been playing it in a downscaled resolution in a borderless window because it just won't do 4K without it stopping rendering enemies. Look back at the first few episodes if you forgot. But so that one issue I would say that needs to be addressed. But honestly, I would, if give it 4 or 5 years, if they can bring out a version of this where it's higher resolution, ray tracing enabled, better graphics, better performance, maybe give you a discount if you already own the current game, I'd be up for that. Absolutely. If they weren't planning on doing it already. Looking at the game though, it's something that has come up this because it has been getting. I mentioned Horizon Forbidden West, seeing as they came out within a week of each other or so. Another big open world RPG game. They are two sides of the same coin, and whereas Horizon looks to give you as much information as possible and really help you with things and keep you on task, this tries to obscure things and keep that air of mystery. Then they're both at either extreme of this, so much so that Horizon's map looks like a like the whole thing is a huge goddamn mess. There's just icons bloody everywhere. Whereas Elden Ring, on the other hand, had to, on their first patch, put a little icon now that shows you what NPCs were to location, because they didn't even bother to do as much as that. So unless you have very good memory, or you happen to be recording a series and can look back at episodes, if you can be bothered, then you are going to have difficulty completing quests and just remembering where to go and to do things. And the fact that I've had to, on numerous occasions, open up a wiki page with the map, that demonstrates the problem, right? As good as, but on the other hand, it is a case like, but I do like the air of mystery because it does encourage you to explore, because you don't know what's going to be in an area, you don't know what you could be standing to miss. If you do not start now, you can choose to begin later at the table of lost requests. We won't be starting that now. I will just, for now, we'll just hold out here. But yeah, I'll stand somewhere imposing looking. In fact, will these recognise me as the Lord yet, or is this like before the Elden Beast died?
I see.
Yeah, I guess we've gone back in time to before him dying, or there's no response, at least. Never figured out where she went either. Or does she just die when the place starts burning or something? Right, let's go somewhere imposing looking while I just rant. But it is the game, it's so keeping things kind of hidden from you and obscure like that, and this air of mystery, it's intriguing because it draws you in more. You want to know more about it. One thing Horizon was guilty of was these giant exposition dumps, but the problem is then, I mean, ask your average Elden Ring player if they know the story through and through, they'll say no. And I'll probably do this as well afterwards. I'll probably go and watch like an explanation video of what the hell I've just watched and played through for the past how many hours? Let's have a look. Stats then. 121 going on 122. There you go. But, and by the way, at that amount we've got 3 hours per, actually no, it's not. No, how much, what game? No, what about 45 quid? Yeah, we've almost got 3 hours per pound spent almost. Anyway, so very good value for money. And I will say, I think this has got a lot of replay value, with Horizon being very story-based, story-driven. This has a lot of replay value because it doesn't overly rely on that. It's mostly just the bosses, the environments, the gameplay, having lots of different builds and ways to play through. But Horizon does have a bit of that as well, with the different specializations and things. But it is interesting to see two similar games coming out next to each other with such different design philosophies. It's really gives an opportunity to kind of compare and contrast as to what direction these should be going in. And I would rank both of them a 10 out of 10. I'd say that they both have issues, but I would go as far as to say, though, I think that in the long run, Elden Ring will come out on top. Partly because, I mean, and I don't just mean in sales or in anything like that. I think everyone who plays Elden Ring will remember it more and probably play it more, not just because it's a longer game, but I think they'll do multiple playthroughs. And I think it'll have a larger impact on the industry. I think this game, I dare say it will be an 11 out of 10, as in future, this will be the new bar for what will be a 10 out of 10 game. Everything will be compared to this in future. Just as Skyrim kind of dominated RPGs for about a decade as it got released over and over again, until they've finally seemingly stopped now with what might possibly be the final ever edition, we hope. But this might be having a similar effect. I think at least on From Software's design philosophy going forwards, we might see a lot more large open games like this from them. But yeah, if I were going to offer any critique that was like this needs improving, other than the graphics and performance issues, and it's like, yeah, I think that we need a balance between the overly hand-holding Horizon, because it can be that it tracks every single quest, it litters your map with stuff everywhere, and you go to these giant robots that reveal masses of the map and just litter it with icons and stuff like that. You need a mixture between that and Elden Ring, where it's just kind of, yeah, here's the rough direction you want to be going in. Sort of kind of do a thing, very laissez-faire with it, just kind of giving you a rough, kill this guy. Who? Where? But, the most guidance it gives you is from the Sights of Grace. You need somewhere in between the two. I think at the very least a step in the right direction would be a quest log. Just, even if it's just literally it just holds the dialogue or something that you had with that person. Anything like that. And little markers on your map, like it gives you some of these, like this, little red markers for certain quests. I would actually appreciate more of that, because I know for a fact that there's quest lines here that we've probably missed. Like, I talked to the let me think, who's missing? We started a quest line with Selena and never saw it through. Like, she said, go and find this guy, and you're in the ruins beneath the capital or something, and then I never saw him while we're down there. The dung eater guy, I went and did the thing, and I honestly, he's like, go and get these and gather them and bring them back, and then I can't be asked. I mean, that one's just me being lazy. Rani. We spoke to her and she said it was nice working with you, and that was it. We never went there again, basically. I think that it goes further than that. I don't know how much further. I think one of the only few ones we did were Latenna, getting her to the apostate derelict there. Like, there's only been a handful of quests that we've finished, and I'm sure I picked all of them up, and it's just it just does not help you in any way into. And I think the only way I would actually be able to do this would be to start like another playthrough or continue with this and just have the damn wiki open while I'm going through it step by step, because it's just like, oh, I'm gonna go and do a thing if I don't tell you where they're going. It's like, well, what? Like, I've not seen any of these. Like, they were last down here in the Kaled wilds, around here somewhere, wasn't there? Up here. We never saw her again. Like, we went and she helped us kill a boss, and we got her cured, and she said she's gonna go on a journey. Never saw her again at all. Don't know where she went. Not a clue. I don't even remember. I'd have to look back on the videos. I don't remember which video it was. There's 100 and odd of them. Could I just have a list of the dialogue that was said so I can look back? So I want there to be a mixture of the two. It's like Horizon is a bit much. This is way too little. Just like, I need a to-do list. Not a. I don't need the whole hand-holding. Here's a little, GPS marker with a suggested route. No, that's fine, but for the love of God, at least tell me in what rough direction they just buggered off in before they left me forever. There's just a bunch of people randomly in the world sitting about waiting for me to do a quest, and I have long since forgotten. It's like, Where did they go? Oh, they went and become like Lord of all creation. What? And they didn't come back and do they left me. Yeah, busy man. I'm Lord of all creation now. I'm but yeah, it's so I would say that the other thing I would say is one thing that's yeah I could probably say two of the major deals for me with this have been so the what was it? Yeah, another one would be the platforming. For the love of God, stop putting platforming in the game. It's thank God there's a jump button for it now. But Jesus Christ, this this game engine does not like it. When you land on any surface that isn't perfectly flat, there's a chance that you just slide off the side if you're slightly off center and just fall to your death. And yeah, and especially when you have to do it on the back of a bloody horse that has a turning circle and you're trying to maneuver it in a tiny space. It's like that. This is not fun. This is frustration. This is pure frustration. Right? It's awful. I hate it. I just don't want that in the game at all. Like, fair enough when it's like, ooh, dodge the traps, avoid the thing, ooh, fight this guy while this trap's firing this off at you. I don't mind, having a bit of, movement mechanics involved in that way. Best example would be the, where was it up here? The hero grave thing up here, wasn't it? Where was that anyway? Wasn't there, was it? No. Completely forgotten where it is. There it is. With the chariots and things. If there were like traps that you had to avoid and do little bits of platforming in that way, but it were like, yeah, maybe, but still, I'd prefer it to just, if you've not got a very good system for it, stick to your strengths. Don't try to. It's like when a first-person shooter tries to pry in the obligatory stealth section when it has F-all stealth mechanics and the ones that are there just barely function. It's not fun. It's just annoying. Just don't. Just avoid it. If Doom Eternal had a stealth section in, right, people would be fuming. You don't do it. Other than that, the only other issues would be just general stuff with combat. I still to this day kind of like blocking versus dodging. It's like it takes you so much more to create a build that's decent at blocking, to the point where you've got enough stamina and you've got enough weight capacity. I think that you should be able to get more weight capacity and stamina. Basically, I think the endurance stat should give you a little bit more than it does. I had the same problem with Demon Souls. It's like that, if you want to just wear heavy armor and a shield, especially if it's any kind of large shield and wield a large sword, you have to just put everything into endurance, and then you'll just do no damage. And the thing is, it doesn't even buff your health or anything. So it's, yeah. Meanwhile, if you go full on dodge roll, and I see why everyone does that a lot in this game, because the dodge roll is, it gives you iframes, you don't have to put any points really into stamina very much. Just a few, I guess. You don't have to worry about your armor, because, well, I'm just not going to get hit. Yeah, sure, I guess, and just be a glass cannon. Not really my style of play, but each to their own. That said, and yeah, but yeah, other than that, other play styles I've noticed, the bows seem to be weak as ever. I fully understand as to why, because if the bows were strong and you could run around on horseback shooting people, if you could run around on horseback shooting people with a damn bow, it would be enormously overpowered, and you would never die and get all the points and runes and all the items that you would ever need without any risk to yourself. It would be absolutely obnoxious and ridiculous, right? So they've just nerfed the thing into the dirt. The problem is then it's like, well, why even have bows? They're terrible, right? The bows in the game seem to be abysmal. Using them is an awful experience. It seems to be basically you need to use the lock-on and just don't use the precision aim at all because it'll just take you too long. Not only that, you can't move while you're wielding them. Well, while you're firing them, and it's any kind of fast monster will just wreck you. And a lot of the battles take place at close range, and that means, I mean, hell, magic users are going to struggle with that, but at least they have like magic swords they can summon and things. But an archer in the right, in the wrong circumstances will just get obliterated in this. That's just another gripe I've got. I think they've needed to address the issue with ranged weaponry for years, and they just never have. I think it needs a complete rebalance. I wouldn't mind actually if they just eventually made it so the bow wasn't necessarily a precision aim. Hey, you use it and you go into first-person shooter mode or whatever it is that it does here. Where it goes into that aiming screen. I wouldn't mind if they just got rid of that entirely, completely reworked the whole thing, and you just locked on and fired it as if you were launching spells at something. I think that would work better, and allow you to use it on the move, dodge roll with it, and so on, very quickly, and give you maybe 2 moves where you've got like a sort of hard-hitting, long-ranged attack, and then another sort of quick-fire attack that's like a scatter shot of 3 or 4 arrows that's directly in front of you, like a shotgun attack basically. So that could act as like its light attack, and the sniper attack as its heavy that you could charge, and it draws it back more and charges it up or something. Make bows basically almost like a staff or something, and you're doing it like that in terms of behaviour, rather than trying to make it into a shooter that then they go, well, that'd be too powerful, and they nerf it. And but yeah, just generally speaking, the combat, I think it's one of the things that does let the game down. It needs a lot of, it's rough around the edges, but it needs smoothing out a bit. A few other things that I would just mention. Horseback is, combat's weird, and you can't dual wield. I mean, come on, I should be able to use my shield on horseback. Deflect from the left while I attack with the right. Or you think it'd just automatically be on, as like raised, and you just deflect everything on your left side or something, while your shield's there, as long as you're not attacking on that side. Maybe something like that. Or if you've got 2 weapons, it should allow you to swipe with both, perhaps, or I don't know, but you can't. I mean, I'm trying to think if you can use a bow. I think you'd have to like put it in your offhand, and then tell it to like dual wield the offhand weapon. It could be better. It could be more sort of intuitive, I think, in terms of equipping and using weapons on the horse, and you should be able to use both weapons and things, and spells. You can't use spells on it or cast incantations. I don't know why. You should be able to, but you can't. Because in certain fights, particularly against dragons, you're just going to be on horseback basically, and not being able to cast spells, incantations while you're on that, because those fights are clearly designed for like massive fights while you're on horseback, and they look brilliant. They're cinematic, by the way. Best version of dragons they've put in a game yet. Like, the dragon fights actually feel like dragon fights. It's not just oh look, there's a dragon over there, and you plink it away with a billion arrows while it stands there not doing anything. Yet the trailer had a massive dragon fight in. No, it's you actually have some awesome dragon fights in this, so kudos to them on that. But the mounted combat needs a kind of once over. Lastly, then I would just say combat in general, maybe spruce it up with more abilities and things. Like, I've got so many Ashes of War and cool abilities, and I can't use any of the damn things. Your weapon gets one single ability, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I could use more abilities by equipping more weapons. Well, yes, but annoyingly, weapons in these slots count towards your overall weight, which you wouldn't think they would, because they're stashed away in your backpack, and things in your backpack don't count towards it. But when you equip these weapons, they do. So if I wanted to have a sword and be able to swap to a bow, I would go overweight. If I wanted to have a sword with one special attack on and a sword with a different special attack, I'd go overweight, and you get the problem here. I've got all these cool Ashes of War, all these cool items and things, and I can't use them because of this stupid weight mechanic that I hate, right? Just at least don't count stored weapons toward that. It would be a massive boon, I think, to the combat. And perhaps just allowing you to, maybe the weapon ability should be a wheel or something like that, where you can equip up to 3 or 4 different abilities on the weapon. So I could use my kind of flame rupturing ability on the blasphemous blade, then maybe have another where it coats it in fire, and then another where I do like a spinning attack, and another where I like plant it in the ground and blast everything around me and stuff. And you know, but basically let me equip multiple Ashes of War, because you've got all these cool abilities and you don't get to use them. It's very saddening to see, so to speak, that. So I'd like to see flashier combat, basically, with all that, is I guess what I'm getting at. And there's a lot of stuff in the game where it's like, you know, you can't put more than one physic flask on, even though you get all those different tiers and cool stuff you could do. I mean, hell, why don't they just let you create your own custom potions at that rate? But you don't, you can't, so a lot of weird mechanics that are underutilized. And another thing with customizing weapons, you can't customize the abilities on boss weapons. It's like, right, so I've got this amazing sword here that I can't change the ability on, even though I do like the ability on this, but I can't change that. I couldn't get another sword later on in the game, like, oh, this is really cool, but I would prefer this other ability on it. Can't do it because, oh, this is a special weapon, it's set in stone, so you can only customize the basic weapons that are a bit meh, not the boss weapons. So all these customization mechanics kind of go down the toilet because half the weapons in the game won't take them. It's like they're shooting themselves in the foot there. I don't get why they would do that. I think it would come with the Ash of War with it and be pre-equipped, but you think you'd be able to separate the two. I get that it's like thematically it's meant to act and behave like this, but allowing you to separate them wouldn't be a massive blow. It's not like it's ruined the canon of the game or anything. It's fine. Anyway, I think that's the most of it. The last thing I would say is the multiplayer. Please, for the love of God, have a lobby system. Why should I have to keep fast travelling around the map and putting my sign down in different locales that act as, I guess, different lobbies, and you have to go and manually activate all the stakes? Why can't it just be based on whether or not you've reached that boss yet? So I'd like to just have normal co-op. I would like to be able to have a game of, you know, like, to go on Elden Ring and just invite a friend, they join my lobby, and we just play through the game together. And maybe it just ups the difficulty a bit, like the damage and health of enemies or something. But that said, and it's annoying, they've got this summoning system. And you think that that's there to make up for not having co-op friends on the bosses, and it is. But that means that, well, you can design the game around having a co-op partner, because then when the co-op partner's absent and you're playing solo, you can summon a monster to fight beside you that acts as like a pseudo co-op partner. Basically they're in their stead, they're a replacement. So you'd still be able to balance the game around this one perfect difficulty. I think that you should just go with that and just make the game full co-op then. You can either have summons or you can have co-op partners, but the game should just play co-op normally. It would be fine to do that. I don't see why they haven't. It's weird, and honestly, I think if I could play this co-op, I've got my brother and a few friends who I think would have been able to be convinced into playing it with me. But they didn't, because it wasn't proper full co-op and looked a bit difficult, so, you know. Missed opportunity there. And on that note, I would just say, finally then, it's, but I think that's more or less everything that I've got a gripe or an issue with. Trying to think if there's anything else really, but yeah, I think, but that is one as well. Just it needs like a proper co-op system. It does. It's frustrating to not have it at this point. I thought we were going to miss something on the topic of combat and things and co-op partners. If you're not doing that, then why is it you can only summon things once? Like, I can go into an area where you can summon creatures, and you only get to summon one, yet some creatures cost very little FP. Why not allow me to summon, I mean, maybe not have multiple up at once, but if they die, why can't I just re-summon them? You think that would be the benefit of having a low costing creature summon, that you'd be able to re-summon it multiple times because it has low FP cost, but no. You can only summon one creature per area once, and if they die, that's it, you can't summon another. It's like, well, obviously I'm going to summon the biggest, most powerful one then, which is the Mimic tier, right? Or hell, if I could just summon as many as I had FP for, up to maybe like a certain amount, maybe have like 3 summon groups at once or whatever. It's like, oh man, I could summon like, you know, 9 soldiers or my Mimic tier, maybe then I'd start considering other strategies, but like, I would like to see a summoner build. I honestly think the first mods that are going to come out for this are probably going to be things like carried weapons, not carried weapons that aren't currently in use, probably not attributing to your overall carry capacity. I wouldn't be surprised if someone creates like a necromancer class by adding a bunch of skeleton summoning spells or something to the game that don't act towards your summoning count, or just raising the amount of things you can summon at once. That wouldn't surprise me if someone basically makes the ability to create caster builds, not caster builds, summoner builds. I very much look forward to a randomizer coming out, because I think that'll give me the excuse to play it again. But all in all though, to finally finish my 20-minute rant, brilliant game, absolutely brilliant. There's definitely room for improvement, but I think this is probably a landmark moment, not just for the franchise and the studio making it in terms of their design philosophy and success going forwards, but I think that RPGs as a whole are probably going to be impacted by this for years. And afterwards, yeah, we're going to see a big change in the way that these sort of games are made, and these sorts of games play. I think that open world games from now on will probably be less handholdy and a bit more brutal, and probably larger and more interesting, rather than being kind of copy paste sections and things. And I'll say this much: it's not completely innocent from copy pasting stuff itself. I mean, come on, how many of the same church have we come across or been going through? And cave areas, like the activities that this has, it's like, right, you might find abandoned shacks that have NPCs in them. There'll be catacombs and caves, and there's churches that usually have sacred tears, and then there's these, I'm told that they're ever jails, and even though it's clearly spelt as like Gowl or Gowol, but whatever. I'm assuming it's probably either foreign or very old English. But yeah, the amount of similar buildings and NPCs that get reused and so on, it's not innocent from it, but the areas are so unique and interesting, and the bosses, god, the bosses in this are ridiculous and great. I think honestly my gold standard for bosses is usually like Monster Hunter World, but I'd probably put this up there with that now. So kudos to him for that. Anyway, that will be doing it for this episode and the entire series. We are finally done with Elden Ring. It's been going up on the channel now since the dawn of time, I think. If you've actually somehow managed to watch them all, but I know not many of them have got views, but if somehow, somewhere in the future, someone ends up going back and watching through all my past episodes and goes through the entirety of this, good lord, you are... I mean, I understand your pain because I've had to go through all of this myself. It is a very long game, but thank you very much for watching and being with me the way. Or even if you've just watched some of it and some of this and stumbled on the episode. Either way, thank you very much. And now that I've had my little rant at the end about my thoughts on it, I'll be leaving you with that. I'll hope to see you next time. I don't know what will be on the channel next. Honestly, I don't know when this episode's going to go up because I've been playing this like mad for nearly a month, and I've like a backlog of, I think, somewhere around like 50 videos still that are going up after the current one. So I'll probably see this video go up sometime in early summer, even though it's mid-spring, because there's that many bloody episodes that are going up now. Oh, I've just put that, there's that many, because the game is that goddamn long. But we will make it, we have made it. The channel will eventually have other things on. In the meantime, again, I don't know exactly what I'm going to play next. I know that Inscriptions had like some mods released for it, and there's a few other little indie games I want to go on that have come out that I've been sat on for ages because I've been trying to get through this and Horizon, which are just monstrously sized games. So I've got a few things on the back burner that I'm probably going to go to now. Some things have had updates like Age of Darkness and so on, so we'll see what comes up next. But until then, I hope to see you in future videos. It's been a good one, but it's finally time to quit good old Elden Ring. We have gone over the 122 hour mark in that little event as well. Right. Tell me what you think in the comments, because I'd be interested to hear what you think of it. But that's my take. But again, excellent game. I'd say this will have rippling effects on the industry for a long while. I think this is the new standard for RPGs going forward. This will be the one to which they're all compared as essentially how to see if they're 10 out of 10 or not. I'll see you next time.